So today what I'm hoping to go through is a Procreate drawing tutorial for architecture students or professionals, anyone trying to take their drawings to the next level. A lot of you guys in my last video where I reviewed the iPad Air 3, this thing which I'll be drawing on today, said that you'd like to see Procreate in use. So today I'm going to be going through that. I think it's one of the best apps I've ever used for creating drawings, illustrations, and essentially being an alternative to a sketchbook. Today it's going to be focusing on a beginner's drawing tutorial for anyone who has an iPad or wants to go through just understanding how to use Procreate and perhaps learning some tips. Anyone who has seen my Instagram, you'll know that I have a huge passion for architectural drawing. I'm constantly experimenting with different drawing styles and experimenting with different drawing concepts. And if there's any drawings that you want to know how to do, because some people have left comments asking how you do specific drawings, just drop me a comment or a message and say, look, how do you do this? And hopefully we can do a tutorial for that. What's interesting is I literally only bought this iPad because of Procreate. Check out the previous video where I reviewed this iPad and unboxed it just to see and compare it to the devices I've had before. So let's get into it. So when you open Procreate, you essentially get this menu which just shows you all of your past drawings. It comes with these stock images, which are, I'll be honest with you, when I first saw these I was like, no way that was done with a pen and a tablet on an iPad, because you know it is insane. And it's only when you zoom in really close up you can start to see actually, wow, this is something that was done on the iPad. And then you realize, once you see all these crazy painting and drawing tools, how you can get such complex art and line work. So you know, something like this is quite cool, that when as soon as you get Procreate, just to jump into these kind of stock drawings and try to just look at them and draw on top of them and try to, you know, maybe you want to extend this roof, or maybe you want to add another window. I think what's really cool is if you go into this, try to find, you know, what might be the right painting tool. And here's a cool feature where you just hold your finger down and you can color select instantly, and once you get in there you can just start to draw. Obviously that's fat, so I'll just bring the brush size down, maybe increase the opacity and come back in here. And the pressure sensitivity is out of this world, honestly. As I said, I've used the Surface Pro and they're meant to be, you know, competitors with the iPad. The pressure sensitivity of this pencil is next level, and I'm using a 2018 iPad. That's the iPad Air 3 from 2018 in 2021, and I tell you, it is top of the line. So you know, this is something you can experiment with. I think it's a smart thing to do, basically, that when you get into Procreate, just have a little play. The point of today is just to give you a very quick drawing tutorial on a very simple drawing process that I use quite often, and it involves taking a nice photograph, it involves tracing, and then it involves using your imagination and being a bit free. So we're going to go through that process today. So the first thing I would do is start a new canvas. So I would just choose screen size, and just to give you an idea of what you can choose, you've got square, 4K, which is huge, you can see the pixel size here, you know, all the way down to even a cool comic book dimension, and you can even create your own dimensions and your own custom canvas size. So amazing user experience here. I love to use screen size. It's a very reasonable size for things you would want to put on Instagram or things you would want to, you know, do for a website. It's just a good size. It's the size of an iPad screen. So yeah, this is really cool that you can just rotate the canvas however you like. A lot of people draw with this kind of angled feel, so you know, sometimes I do that. It saves you having to turn the whole iPad, so that's cool. And as you just saw there, once you do something, you can easily undo it with 2 fingers tapped on the screen, and to bring things back, you just do 3 fingers and it comes back. So absolutely love this. And I'll be honest with you, something quite embarrassing. I've been using this so much that once I actually went back to my sketchbook and drew and started drawing on my sketchbook, and instead of rubbing my mistake out, I tapped the sketchbook with 2 fingers. Yeah, so make sure you stay grounded in the real world after using this. Anyway, so yeah, let's start. So the first thing I would do for this beginner's tutorial is to say, take a photograph of any building or any street view, or just something, I imagine as architectural practitioners, students, professionals, you might have a passion for photography. You might see something quite cool and you might take a snap. I think these are really good moments for you to then use those photographs to create your own unique image, because it's your photograph. It's not something you get off the internet, and there's something quite nice about that. So all you have to do is make sure you're on a new layer, bring in a photograph using the settings tool, and then add, and then go to insert a photo, and let's just choose this one for example. So this seems like a very small thing, but it's amazing for usability, right? And it's, if you pinch on the canvas, you zoom the canvas, but if you've got the image selected, you pinch that and you start to scale the image. This is really, really high-end stuff, in my opinion. I love this. Once you do that, you can take the opacity down by clicking on this N. N basically means normal, because you can apply these filters to your drawing as well, which you'll recognize from Photoshop. All of these effects, multiply, darken, color burn, you've got all these options here as well. So N just means normal. If it was multiply, it would say M. So really cool. But anyway, normal, and I would take the opacity down to something like that. Then on a new layer, select your drawing tool, and I love to use the Procreate pencil, which is the standard pencil on this app. And once you do that, you zoom in and you can choose your brush size. And the cool thing here is if you drag out, it does it really, really sort of low incremental moves. So I'm going up by like 1% with the whole height of this iPad screen, or you can just do it straight from here and get quick movement. So let's say brush size, start with 10, and the brush opacity, I'm going to keep it somewhere in the middle. Now all I would say is trace, and as you can see in my sketching right now, it is really sensitive, so it doesn't look like there's much there, but if I hide this layer, you can see how that's like as if you're drawing with a real HB pencil. And I'll show you the sensitivity now. So this is really light, and now I'm starting to increase pressure, and now I'm really pushing hard now. So it is super sensitive, and you can actually do some really cool shading. And as you see right now, I have the pencil tilted, and it actually behaves as if you have tilted a pencil. As I bring the tilt up, it changes. It's remarkable. And if you really wanted to do some cool shading, you can literally change the gradient so easily with your sketching. This is not the best pencil to shade with. For something like shading, a 6B would be great. And this way you can start to really create a strong gradient. And just to add to the kind of shading aspect, you have a smudge tool here, and this will smudge it as if you actually are smudging it with your finger. So it is next level. Anyway, back to our tracing. So let's get the Procreate pencil again, and I'm going to take the brush size down because it's quite thick for me. And now I'm going to show you something really cool, which is if you hold your line, it snaps to a straight line. This is insane, especially for people interested in architectural drawings and technical drawings, because your accuracy is, taken to a whole new level. You'll never be able to do this in real life with a pencil and ruler at this speed. So this is something I absolutely love about Procreate. does not just apply to your lines, but it also applies to circles. And so the really cool thing about this is if you draw a circle and it's not a perfect circle, as you can see, all you have to do is put a finger down on the screen and it snaps to be a perfect circle. And the same thing applies to the line, where it will snap to a 0 degrees to 45 to 90. Really, really useful. As you continue to sketch over your drawing, one thing I really love to do is to just add in your own details. You might be drawing something here and realize, I don't want to follow the parapet, or I don't want to follow the membrane of the roof. What I want to do is, I don't know, add something else that will make this drawing a bit more unique. So maybe I'll add some sort of beam on the outside and bring that across here. And yeah, this is why I love tracing over your own photographs, because you don't just make it unique from the fact that it's your photograph, but what you start to add into your drawing as you're tracing it then starts to make it even more unique. And this is what I'm going to be going through in this tutorial when we get to actually adding in your own design. So just to save you guys time, I'm not going to go ahead and do the whole drawing because that will take ages. And if I turn this layer on, what I've actually done here is my own kind of rough sketch over. And this is the beauty of this, right? So you can add your own elements on top and you can do all sorts of crazy ideas. And I think this is a really cool way to actually start to create your own unique architectural drawing. So what I've done here is a very rough sketch of some sort of crazy parasitic kind of extension to a house, which is referencing in some of the old English traditional building vernacular into this kind of new, mutant version of, traditional Victorian vernacular. And the cool thing about Procreate is you can do, we saw the line thing where you don't need a ruler and suddenly you've got the ruler inbuilt. The other thing you've got inbuilt is essentially a tracing pad. So once you do your first iteration, you can take its opacity down and start a new layer and draw on top even more refined lines, so as I've started to do here. And the cool thing about this is you start to create a very finished piece, and you don't actually need any tracing paper. It's all done on one app, on one device, in one go. I think this is going to transform it. I think it already is transforming, actually, architectural drawing and illustration. Yeah, it's essentially a very simple process, and I'm going to do it very roughly just to give you an idea of the full composition. And also, hopefully you've had some idea of the functionality of this amazing drawing app as well, and the potential it has for you to replicate the sketchbook experience and actually elevate the experience to a whole new level. I really think if you are an architectural designer or illustrator or even student, you need to be getting yourself an iPad. And look, an iPad, is probably expensive for most people. For me especially, it was expensive, but that's why I went for the affordable option with all the amazing perks that you would get with the latest iPad as well. I don't think it's worth spending so much money on the latest gears when you can get just as good with the older versions. So if you want to check that out, just look at my review on my channel of the iPad Air 3, which is the current iPad I'm using. So I really hope you enjoyed that video and you found it useful. My main aim is to make sure you can take some value from these videos and this content. So if there's anything I can do to help make that process better, leave a comment, let me know what you need or what you want. If you want to see the Procreate intermediate tutorial or the advanced tutorial, let me know and I'll do that too. I hope you will get yourselves an iPad and try these amazing drawing techniques that will, I think, take your architectural drawings and your architectural skill set to another level. Oh, and also make sure you check out my architecture podcast, Two Worlds Design Podcast, which all the videos will be on my channel. I think if you're watching this, you're going to love episode 3 with Eric Wong, who's a Bartlett Medal Award winner, multiple medal award winner, won all sorts of things for his incredible drawings. He's an incredibly inspiring student and professional now, and in that episode we go really deep into understanding the techniques needed for exceptional drawings, to make showpiece drawings. And no doubt you guys have probably seen, the Bartlett style drawings all over Instagram, and this guy is a master of it. In fact, he's the protege student of CJ Lim, who runs that studio producing all those drawings. And you're gonna love that episode. So make sure you check that out, and see you on the next video.